today's competition. Who will it be? Delosa, Geisler, Komarek, Kogar, Wynyard, Brown, Hart, Jehan? We will see. Power, precision. We talk about it a lot when it comes to the STIHL Timbersports events. But one thing that a lot of people don't really count on is the endurance that you need to do well here. And you will see exactly why as these guys get things set up. Now, if you were with us earlier on today and watched online at our Rookie World Championships, you saw them each compete in single disciplines, which meant they did either the stock saw against another competitor, or they did the standing block chop, or the underhand chop, or the single buck against another competitor. Here, our champions will do all 4 disciplines in the heat. And you will see why I talk about how important that endurance is. Christoph Geisler setting his single buck, the 2-meter-long one-man saw. He's got to cut through a 40-centimeter block of wood there. Prior to that, though, he'll use that stock saw sitting on the floor, the chainsaw that you can buy in your local STIHL dealership. It's exactly the same one. No modifications have been made to the saw.
30 seconds.
And you'll see these guys are incredible athletes. Here we go. Chance to warm up the saws here, and then we'll get going with our first heat. Brad Delosa from Australia going up against Christoph Geisler from Switzerland.
Sexy people, to all you fly mothers, get on out there and dance. Dance, I said. Now push it. Push it good. Push it real good.
Okay, gentlemen. Timers ready. Contestants ready. 15 seconds to warm up your swords.
These 15 seconds are critical for these gentlemen because they want to get those saws started and get them warmed up a little bit so that they run clean and smooth going through that log. You can't apply too much pressure, otherwise the saw will stall, and then you need to restart. And here we go, our first for the Champions Trophy. Could even start by both, but it looks like Delosa's got the slight advantage, and he'll move over to the underhand chop. This is a discipline where Geisler is very strong, but Delosa is slightly younger and slightly heavier than Christoph Geisler, which could be an advantage for the Australian. A little hook up by Christoph Geisler, but he's still working on it. Now moves to the other side. Delosa is also on to the other side of his log. A last quick hit for Delosa, and he moves on to the single buck. Christoph Geisler, meanwhile, is still trying to get through that underhand chop. That's going to cost him a heck of a lot of time, and you can see the advantage big time going to the Australian. But he hooks up his single buck saw a couple of times. No matter, though, he gets through and moves to the standing block chop. Cutting from both sides of this block to get it down. Christoph Geisler, meanwhile, well behind the time. Christoph now moves over to his standing block. Delosa is not going to beat his world record, but he's definitely going to take down Christoph Geisler in this competition here today. Let's see what the final time will be for Brad Delosa. He gets it done in 1:10.41. Christoph Geisler well behind, moving over to the other side of his log now. Keeps getting that axe stuck. Costing a lot of time. They need to get this done in under 2 minutes time. Otherwise, it's an automatic DQ, 129.88. All right, good time to start things off for Brad Delosa. Christoph Geisler struggling a little bit there. We'll take a look at some of the slow-mo action for both of these guys. See if we can analyze this a little bit.
Okay, and the winner is Brad Delosa.
So Brad Delosa will move on to the semifinals. Let's take a look back here. Nice cut by Delosa and by Geisler. Both of them leaving the stock saw pretty much even. Also, you can see here their stroke frequency is about the same, but Christoph stays on the first side of the log a little bit longer than Brad DeLosa does. DeLosa moves over sooner than Christoph Geisler does, and here, the single buck, this big beast of a saw. A couple of hookups for Brad DeLosa, cost him a couple of seconds, but he did move over to the standing block chop, and there is the final blow from DeLosa to take down the time at 1:10.41, excuse me. Christoph Geisler making it through in 1:29.88. And as I said, beautiful weather here, perfect conditions in Hamburg's harbor for the STIHL Champions Trophy 2017. This STIHL Timbersports Champions Trophy brings together current and former champions and pits them head-to-head in the endurance version of timber sports. Unbelievable. Our next pairing will be Martin Kormarek from the Czech Republic going up against the youngster Matt Kogar from the USA. Martin Kormarek is a funny man, a big character you wouldn't expect, but he is quite funny. Matt Kogar, nice guy out of the USA, coming from West Virginia. His favorite discipline is the standing block chop. Meanwhile, Martin Kormarek's favorite discipline we don't have here today, unfortunately, and that is the springboard. So it takes a few minutes for our stage crew to reset all of the logs and the blocks on that stage. They do a great job. They're super efficient at it. Here they come, Matt Kogar. Bare arms, Martin Kormarek going for the, how shall I put it, neon look. 10 years difference between these two. Matt Kogar has the age advantage and the height advantage here at 191 centimeters tall. Martin Kormarek, meanwhile, is 187 centimeters tall. So let's call it 6'2" to 6'4", the difference between these two guys. Matt Kogar focused on the sport because this is what he does for a living. He is a sport lumberjack. Meanwhile, Martin Kormarek is a mechanic. Now you can see that single buck saw, 2 meters long with cutting teeth and cleaning teeth, or sweeping teeth. He will set the first couple of cuts here, carefully monitored by the judges to make sure that the cuts don't go deeper than they should. And then the saw will be set in competition readiness. Key with that single buck is to get a good flow started early and make sure that you keep it going. Too much pressure and you could bow the saw and get caught or hooked up. Too little pressure and you're not getting through the wood fast enough. Same goes for the stock saw, which is what we start our competition with. If you put too much pressure on the rotating blade, it could stall the saw, stall the blade, and then you're really in trouble because you have to pull it out, start again, reposition, and start the cut all over again. So you want to make sure you find a healthy balance there.
Timers ready. Contestants ready. 15 seconds to warm up your saws. Hands on the wood. Get set.
Shuts the saw down, moves straight over to the underhand chop. Martin Kormarek not that far behind him. Martin Kormarek, a real quick pace though. For a 40-year-old, he's looking quite young with those swings. Matt Kogar's got a challenge on his hands here though. He gets that axe stuck just slightly, but keeps that pace going on his own side as well. Let's see who will get through the block first, and it's going to be Martin Kormarek moving over to the single buck. Now he's got the experience here on the single buck. Can he really make make it work? And does he have the endurance to take it from Singelbuck to the standing block chop? A little hookup, and he is out and on to the standing block. Matt Kogar, meanwhile, is having all sorts of problems with that big saw. He's gotten it stuck 2 or 3 times. That's costing him an immense amount of time on the clock. And Martin Komarek has a distinct advantage and lead now as he'll move over to the other side of the standing block chop. He is looking fantastic. And that experience for the Czech is really paying off. Matt Kogar finally over on to the standing block, but I don't think it's going to bring him anything as one final blow by Martin Komarek gets him through at a time of 1:13.82. Nicely done. Matt Kogar not having the competition he had hoped for. He looked so good in the time trials earlier as well, but he comes through in 1:25.03. So as soon as the judges confirm that all cuts were fair, we'll find out shortly. We'll see Martin Komarek move on to the semifinal. I won't say that that was unexpected because Martin Komarek is a fantastic competitor, but I am a bit surprised because Matt Kogar did have the age advantage and is a strong young man, but just had too many problems with that single buck.
And the winner is Martin Komarek.
There you go. It's official. Martin Komarek goes through to the semifinal round up against Matt Kogar here. Disappointing for the young man from America, but you know he'll be back. He is a solid competitor. He's going to work on all of the things that he felt were wrong coming into the 5-8 round. And we're going to take a look one more time here. It was a very good start for both of them on the stock saw. They were almost equal as they went over to underhand chop here. Let's look at this. In fact, Matt Kogar was out first. Just one extra step there to take off those glasses. But that was almost even going to underhand chop. Now here, this is a discipline that Martin Komarek absolutely loves. You can see Matt Kogar moved over to the other side first, but Martin Komarek was first away from that underhand chop. And here, the last 2 blows to get that block off the top of the standing block, and that did it for Martin Komarek moving to the next round. Nicely done. Congratulations. Ever under the watchful eye of Spike Milton, Global Sports Director in the orange jersey on the stage there, keeping a close eye on all the reset action on stage, and our audience here in Hamburg excited to see some fantastic timber sports action. This is a treat. It's not every day an event like this pops up in your town, and Hamburg has definitely been treated to some great action so far. 2 heats, 4 athletes in, and 2 heats and 4 athletes still to go here in the first round, the quarterfinal round. Next will be Jason Wynyard, an absolute legend, 8-time individual world champion. Incredible. At 43 years of age, he still swings an axe like a 25-year-old. He's got power, he's got precision. He knows what he needs to do to win these competitions. Can he do it here at the Champions Trophy? He's up against some serious competition in Dirk Brown from Germany. And I spoke with Dirk Brown earlier the other day. He's a strong man, but he said he wasn't feeling 100%, a little bit of the sniffles, having trouble getting full breaths in, but you know, he's a competitor, he's a gladiator, and we'll see him working hard. There, Jason Wynyard on the right-hand side, and Dirk Brown on the left-hand side of your screen. Dirk Brown, known for his bandana cap, the skull cap, and Jason Wynyard known for his very stoic art. He'll win, and he'll celebrate, but you won't see him jumping all over the stage screaming in jubilation. He just knows that he's done a great job. Best time for the Champions Trophy, by the way, for Jason Wynyard, 58:31, so not far off the world record. Dirk Brown, best time for him, 1:26:21, so he's got a bit of work set ahead of him in order to do some damage against a guy like Jason. But everybody has good days and everybody has bad days, and that's just the way it goes. And we saw that earlier with Martin Kummerich and Matt Kogar. It wasn't Matt Kogar's day. Maybe today will be Dirk Brown's day. Maybe it's going to be Jason Wynyard's day. Who knows? It just depends on who's feeling confident and good. But now you can see what we were talking about, how that endurance plays such a huge role in the competition here.
"30 seconds.
All right, Jason Wynyard and Dirk Brown have been in this position before, going up against each other in competition. They know each other extremely well where it comes to timber sports competition. By the way, Dirk Brown has the world record in stock saw. So this start for him is going to be all
gentlemen.
important.
Timers ready. Contestants ready. 15 seconds to warm up your swords. Hands on the wood. Get set.
And you can see here Dirk Brown with a great form getting on that block. Oh no, Dirk Brown's saw cut out on him. This is exactly what we were talking about earlier on. Too much pressure, and that cut him out. Now he's gone over to the underhand chop with his headphones on. Now I don't know if that's going to cost him. I'm not sure if he needs to remove those headphones before going on to the underhand chop. We'll see, but Jason Wynyard, meanwhile, is ripping through it, and he comes to a discipline that he absolutely loves. The single buck is his hot knife through butter. It's amazing how quickly he can work that saw. Dirk Brown, meanwhile, still trying to get it done on the underhand, and now he too comes over to the single buck. But there is no hope for Dirk Brown unless something absolutely catastrophic happens to Jason Wynyard, who is now on the standing block chop. He is dominating this heat here. Dirk Brown just not having any luck today. He finally moves over to the standing block chop, and I think it's going to be 1-2 blows more, and Jason Wynyard will be through that log. And there it is, 110.48 for Wynyard. Always the gladiator, though. Dirk Brown not giving up, and he can't get that axe out. His form just not 100% today, and that's really too bad because he is such a competitor, and this just simply does not show the skill level that Dirk Brown does have. He hasn't had it today. It's just not his day. Too bad for the German, who is through in 1:42.87. I don't think there will be a DQ because of the head or the ear protection there. I'm pretty sure that's not a major issue, but I wasn't sure about it myself. We'll find out exactly when our judges will make a final call on that. I didn't see a flag on the play at all.
Okay, and the winner is Jason Wynyard.
So Jason Wynyard with 110.48. He's not that far behind Brad DeLosa, who had a 110.41. Two very fast times for those guys. And we take a look here right at the bottom, just when I think he anticipated getting through a little bit sooner, and he twisted the saw. That stopped the chain and, of course, stalled the engine. He had to restart, and that's where everything went pear-shaped for Dirk Brown. And it just all worked perfectly in sync for Jason Wynyard. And Derek Brown at the end just decided to give it the old hammerhead to knock it off because he knew he was done.
Well,
there you see a disappointed man in Derek Brown who wanted to do better here at the Champions Trophy in Hamburg. Unfortunate for him. We'll see him back on stage for the competition for positions 5, 6, 7, and 8. All right, one more heat to go. And I think it's safe to say the guy that everybody was saying is a favorite here at this event, Sterling Hart, will be up against Roger Jehan from France. Sterling Hart, he's a sport lumberjack, does that for a living, and he is all over this sport. Spent the last 6 months traveling around the southern hemisphere and coming back up to the northern hemisphere to get himself in shape and fit. Trained in Australia, trained in New Zealand. His favorite discipline, he used to be afraid of the saws, he told me. He didn't like the stock saw and the hot saw disciplines because he didn't feel that he was very good at it. But now that he's sort of gotten into the groove with those tools, the hot saw has become his favorite discipline now. We'll see how he does on stock saw here today. He's been very solid this weekend. One thing I will give you information-wise, though, is that Sterling unspectacularly sprained his ankle stepping off a curb. He told me he couldn't even say that he did it like, I don't know, defending somebody from a bear or, you know, saving a woman from falling off of a bridge. He just basically stumbled going off of a curb, twisted his ankle. And he says that it was just the other day, 2 days before competition, that he was able to put a shoe on. So he's basically struggling with a pretty sore ankle, and that makes it difficult, especially because of a lot of the twisting motion and pressure that you have to have from the ankle and hips and knees to put everything you need into the saw and the axe, especially with this single buck. That just makes it that much more difficult. But he did well in the time trials yesterday, so let's see if he can keep it together here today. Roger Jehan, he is the oldest competitor in the field at 50 years old, a good 7 years older than the next oldest. And his weakness here isn't that he's not a good sawyer or a good axeman. He just doesn't have the endurance that some of the other guys do. I watched yesterday in the time trials.
Okay, gentlemen.
He had trouble. He didn't get it in 2 minutes. So let's see if he can do it today,
ready.
if he's got himself
15
fit.
seconds to warm up your saws. Replacement saw.
All right, we got a problem with the saw from Sterling Hart. So we're going to get a replacement saw in. He mentioned it, that something wasn't right with the saw, and this is the beauty of the stock saw competition. It's an off-the-shelf saw, so they don't have to worry about whether it's mine, yours, his, or theirs. It is the same saw that you can buy off of the shelf in a store that deals in steel products. So there'll be another opportunity to warm up the saws.
Okay, gentlemen. Timers ready. Contestants ready. 15 seconds to warm up your saws.
All right, everything seems to be okay with the saws now on Sterling Hart's side and on Roger Jehan's side.
Hands on the wood. Get set.
Good start by Roger Jehan. Sterling Hart right there, putting some good pressure pressure on the wood now. Jehan moving over to the underhand chop. Sterling Hart is right there with them. Jehan and Hart hit for hit on the underhand chop, but I can hear on Hart's side the pace is a little bit quicker. He's already onto the other side of his log now. And you can see Sterling Hart as hitting that log every time Roger Jehan has won. Sterling Hart's got 2 to 3 hits on his log, and he is through and moving on to the single buck. Now he's got to get himself a really good smooth flow here, and it looks like he's into it right away. Halfway through this 40-centimeter piece of wood, he's got to cut a nice clean disc. Jehan finally getting through that underhand chop, moves over to single buck. Sterling Hart on to standing block, and he's looking solid. Very, very good run for Sterling Hart so far. Not quite a minute, and Hart has moved over to the other side of his block. Will he be under 110? May well be. He's the favorite for competition today, and he's got the fastest time with a 1:07.55, the fastest time of the day for Sterling Hart. Wow, that is a great run for the young man from Canada. Roger Jehan now on to the standing block. He's got to get through there in under 2 minutes. If it gets to 2 minutes, then the time is stopped, and it's a DQ call. I think he'll manage it here, but he knows it's just not going to be his competition against a guy like Sterling Hart. There we go. 1:46.37 for Roger Jehan. All right, Sterling Hart with a great time there of 1:07.55.
Okay, and the winner is Sterling Hart.
So Sterling Hart, Brad DeLosa, and Jason Wynyard all with great times, 1:07, 1:10, 1:10. Martin Komarek, the next fastest with 1:13 as we take a look back here. Now you can see Sterling and Roger both come over to the underhand chop more or less at the same time, but it was just a quicker, more accurate pace from Sterling Hart that got him through there faster on the underhand chop. And here you can see great, smooth, long strokes on that single buck, using the entire blade to cut through that log. And then, of course, the standing block chop. That final blow, just fantastic from Sterling Hart. Great job, and you can see him grimace as he twisted on that ankle a bit. I hope that doesn't affect him later on in the competition, because right now he's working on adrenaline. And you can see the semifinal, DeLosa, Komarek, and Wynyard and Hart. Ooh, that'll be a good battle. Jason Wynyard and Sterling Hart against each other. Oh, yes. In the consolation round, that's ranks 5 through 8. We've got Geisler and Kogar going against each other, and Brown and Jehan going against each other. From the semifinal, we'll see who will make it into the final and who will make it into the consolation final, or the small final, as they call it here. And Don Eckhart making sure this audience gets well equipped with plenty of prizes and giveaways. Having some fun down there. The next round we'll be seeing will be what's called the loser round. It's a terrible name for it, really. I like to call it the consolation round. We'll see Christoph Geisler going up against Matt Kogar in heat number 5, and Dirk Brown going up against Roger Jehan in heat number 6.
Ich um mein Holz. Ich um mein Holz. Okay, der Song beginnt und er bekommt ein Thema.
Our audience here seems to be having a good time with Dan. And why not? Flags in the air. Wave them like you just don't care. So, folks, you've just witnessed quarterfinal action here at the STIHL Timbersports Champions Trophy in Hamburg. And you see that these guys have gone through a round, and at the end of each heat round, they're tired. It's work. It requires incredible effort and endurance, and now we've got to do it all over again. So it looks like stage is ready, and I do believe we are going to do our consolation round for places 5 through 8 first, before we get into our semi-final round.
Ich um mein Holz. Mit Holz kann man voll guten Staudamm bauen. Und wenn der Staudamm bricht, ihm auch vertrauen. Denn das ist crazy, dieses Zeug. Rettet nämlich Leute wie
All right, here we go. Yep, Geisler and Kogar coming out onto the stage now. Heat number 5. All right, getting everything ready here. That is Andy Hall, one of our 2 officials on stage. On the other side, we see Dr. Jörg Kurzenberger. Matt Kogar, it's funny, he talks about some of his hobbies that he likes. He's an outdoorsman. He likes to fish and hunt and do outdoor sport. But one of the other things he likes is going to movies.
15 seconds to warm up his sword.
Bit of a contradiction in terms there. He is the 4-time USA STIHL Timbersports champion. Speaking of champions, Christoph Geisler, in 2011 and 2015 in the World Championship got 2nd place. So 2 top quality athletes here as we get going with stock saw to start things off. And again, Matt Kogar struggling to get his equipment off of his head and move over to the underhand chop. And he is hit for hit there with Christoph Geisler right now. Christoph Geisler, a slightly faster pace than Matt Kogar. Matt Kogar could be struggling with a bit of jet lag, coming over from the United States for the competition. Oh, Matt Kogar gets through that log, casually stepping over to the single buck. Geisler. Let's see if the experience from Geisler will be able to catch up a little bit. Moving on to standing block. Kogar is already there. Kogar's got a good time going on right now. Actually, if you look at it compared to the other times that we've seen today, he's pushing the pace a little bit more. And Matt Kogar could be under 120 here. Let's see. One more hit should do it. Yes, 112.85. Interesting, because Matt Kogar's time in the second heat was 125.03. He bested that time by a good notch. And meanwhile, Christoph Geisler gets through in 131.82. Where was that time earlier, Matt Kogar? That could have made the difference for you. Too bad. That is unfortunate that the performance came in this round.
Okay, and the winner is Matt Kogar.
All right. Stage will get cleaned up now, and Dirk Brown and Roger Jehan will prepare for their heat against each other. Looking back here, Matt Kogar, the slightest advantage here on stock saw. And for some reason or another, whenever he leaves the stock saw, he just struggles to get his goggles and his ear protection off cleanly. And there you see he just steps away. The logs were separated, so it was a fair cut. Casually moves over to the single buck. And here we're looking at the view from Roger Jehan's single buck. Good, clean, long strokes. And he actually made up some good time with that single buck to move over and try and catch up with Matt Kogar, but Matt just had that 1-2 extra hits that made the difference in there. The final blow for Kogar to get a good time of 112.85 in this consolation round. Satisfied with that for sure, but not satisfied that he didn't do it earlier on in competition. By the way, he has bested his best time, Matt Kogar. His best time for Champions Trophy was 2014 with a 1:16.27. So that's a very good sign for Matt Kogar coming into more competition action. And of course, we'll have the World Championships, the STIHL Timbersports World Championships, coming up later this year in Norway. So next up, the fans here in Hamburg will definitely be cheering for him. Dirk Brown from Germany, 8-time German champion, 2-time European champion. Now his time isn't super fantastic compared to some of the other ones here. His best time at Champions Trophy is 1:26.21. Let's see if he can improve his performance here in this round against Roger Jehan compared to the earlier troubles he had. You know he's going to be thinking about that, and he's going to be taking the left-hand side of the stage today for this round. And maybe that'll be the luck changer for him. Needs to have a clean stock saw, and then the rest should flow easily for Dirk Brown. Stock saw is often the tell for him. So Judge Jörg checking the depth of Roger Jehan's single buck. Final preparations by both our athletes And then they'll have time to warm up their saws. On Dirk Brown's side, Andy Hall,
30
final
seconds.
check there. And the 30-second warning before the saws get warmed up.
Okay, gentlemen, timers ready, contestants ready, 15 seconds to warm up your saws.
All right, again, a critical moment here, warming these saws up, making sure that everything is running smoothly. I've never once seen one of these steel saws not start up flawlessly, though, at the start of the competition, so you can tell they're dependable. Here we go. World record form here. Dirk Brown has the world record in stock saw. Not today, though, but he's fast, and he gets to the underhand chop quickly. Dirk Brown, Roger Géhin battling hard. Look at the time so on their stock saw. Very close to each other. Advantage goes to Brown. Roger Géhin twisting over to the other side already, using a quicker pace to get that axe moving. Dirk Brown going for the big, heavy power shots. Let's see who's going to get through first. Dirk Brown looks like he's getting a loose part, and one more blow should do it. He's clean through, and now over to the single buck, but this one's a tight one between these two old granddaddy caddies. Roger Géhin, better start, but he gets stuck. Dirk Brown had a stick off the start, gets another one, but he's getting into the flow now, and it looks like they're dead even on stroke and flow. Roger Géhin, slight advantage. No, I think it's going to go to Dirk Brown. Both of them drop almost at the same time. This is a dead heat, folks, as we go to the standing block chop. My goodness, how close is this between these two veterans in steel timber sports? Unbelievable. Roger Géhin, stroke for stroke, blow for blow with Dirk Brown. France against Germany. Dirk Brown moving over to the other side. Géhin now moving over with him. You can tell they're both tired. They're both putting every last bit of effort into these strokes as they can. I think it might go to Dirk Brown. He's got the power. Géhin does it. And Dirk Brown's got it done in 134.96. Géhin struggling with those final few hits on the block. This is where it's been trouble for him all weekend long. He just doesn't have the endurance, and the power goes away when you can't get the breath in, and he does it in 153.21. What a great battle up to the standing block top. And then it was all Dirk Brown. That's the performance Dirk Brown needed to have earlier on.
And the winner is Dirk Brown.
And once again, we see an improvement in performance just in the wrong round for both of these guys. You could see both of those discs fell roughly at the same time. Dirk was just slightly faster. Roger Géhin had a quicker pace on the underhand chop, but Dirk Brown was just putting every ounce of those muscles into it. Spending some time in the gym lifting weights pays off for Dirk Brown. But here, it's not necessarily all about the power. On this single buck, you have to have good flow and technique, and you have to keep that saw moving. If it gets stuck there, it is a bear to wrestle out of that position. And now, here we go with the final couple of hits from Dirk Brown, putting every last ounce of effort into it to get that block off the top. Great job from the German who lives in the mountain town of Winterberg. And once again, we hear from him.
Und leider ist am letzten internationalen Ebene bei der Chance nutzen, mich auch mal wieder zu danken und für alle, die mich haben. Besonders meine Frau, die jetzt in der wunderschönen Frau sitzt, alleine. Alle gute Hochzeitstag, Claudia.
So I'm taking my time on my ride. Taking my time on my
All right, well, an unfortunate turn of events for Derek Brown, who has to battle through and make an improvement in the consolation or loser round. Just don't like that name for that, but hey, it is what it is. So now we're going to move on to the semi-final with DeLosa and Komarek, Wynyard and Hart. Two big battles coming up. So Brad DeLosa holds the world record for this event, and it's a funny thing when other athletes are starting to tire and get a little bit weaker as the competition runs along. Brad DeLosa tends to get stronger. He seems to know when to peak in competition. He's going to be up against Martin Komarek from the Czech Republic, whose best time in Champions Trophy action was from 2015, which is a 1:06.04. He's got 7 medals, by the way, in STIHL Timbersports World Championships, and he's a 4-time European champion, so he's no slouch, and we saw that earlier as he took down Matt Kogar. Here they come. Brad DeLosa and Martin Komarek. Brad DeLosa was asked about what's the fascination for him in Champions Trophy, and his response was, it's a test of skill in all disciplines, which is very true, because you have to be able to rock through each of these 4 disciplines efficiently and have enough power left over to continue to the next discipline. It's a big deal. Results for Brad DeLosa: Australian champion 2016, individual world champion 2013, team world champion 2011, 2014, 2015, 2016, Champions Trophy winner 2014 and 2015. So this guy has got a pedigree when it comes to STIHL Timbersports. It's unbelievable. Martin Komarek setting his single buck. It's taking a little more time than usual, Martin Komarek, to get that thing set, but he is in position now. Final 30 seconds to get the saw in the right place, and then we'll get going with the action.
Okay, gentlemen, timers ready, contestants ready, 15 seconds to warm up your saws.
All right, 15 seconds to get these saws warmed up in just over a minute perhaps, maybe under, depends on how this heat goes. We'll see how semi-final heat number 1 turns out.
Hands on the wood, get set.
Good even start by both of these athletes. DeLosa, a little bit slower on stock saw than Martin Komarek, but quicker over to the block, and look at the pace. that he goes at that underhand chop with. Martin Komarek keeping up with him, though. Komarek looking very good. This is a discipline that he really likes, the underhand chop. Brad DeLosa and Komarek moving over to the other side. Very close to each other. This is a dead heat right now. DeLosa and Komarek, tit for tat. DeLosa gets over to the single buck before Komarek. Komarek now finally moving over. DeLosa's got a good flow. Komarek needs to get there with him. Komarek using that long set of arms of his and that long reach to really try and catch up. DeLosa now on to standing block. Komarek not that far behind him. Can Komarek catch up to the man who currently holds the world record in this discipline? He's moved over to the other side here. DeLosa got stuck a couple of times there. Looks like he might lose it. He's got it down to 113.53. And a 115.57 for Komarek. Wow. Very close between these two champions. Amazing heat. Absolutely an amazing heat. Komarek still relevant after all these years. Great job. So I didn't see any yellow flags on stage during that heat. Everything looked very fair. Of course, final decision will come from one of our judges. Andy Hall is going to be this time.
Brad DeLosa.
So Brad DeLosa will move on to the final. I'd like to see some of these in slow-mo again. That was an amazing heat between those two guys. Absolutely incredible. Look at this. These cookies dropped nearly at the same time. Advantage Komarek, but he took just an extra second to turn off his saw, which allowed Brad DeLosa to catch up and move on to the underhand chop pretty much at the same time as Komarek did. Komarek likes this discipline, but Brad DeLosa was over to the other side, and the little stick by Komarek held him back. Now DeLosa got over to the single buck much faster, but Komarek had a much better stroke on that single buck. And had he been there for maybe 1 second earlier, it would have been a difference maker here for him. And you can see DeLosa starts at that standing block well ahead of Martin Komarek. But the difference in time was only about 2 seconds from the finish of Brad DeLosa's standing block and the finish of Martin Komarek's standing block. And there's a lot of respect there between these two guys. That was a great heat. Zorba the Greek is going to jump out of the crowd any second now and start a dance on the stage there. All right, just a little bit of a precursor here for our next heat between Jason Wynyard and Sterling Hart. Sterling Hart, more or less considered the favorite for this event, but Jason Wynyard is such a strong competitor that you can never discount him when you're going head-to-head with him. So Sterling Hart will definitely have this in mind. And Jason Wynyard knows this. And Jason Wynyard can play the mind game just like anybody else. But he doesn't have to step up in anybody's face or do anything untoward, because he knows that people know he is the master of timber sports. Absolutely. If there was a God, in steel timber sports, it would probably be Jason Wynyard. He has won so many titles, it's ridiculous. 8 individual world championship titles. You don't have enough space on the page to list the number of accolades that man has. That said, Sterling Hart is, I won't call him the new face of timber sports because he's been around the sport for a long time, but he is definitely at an age where he is reaching his peak and will be able to hold on to it for a long time. Question is, can he put down the pace that he put down earlier on with his ankle being the way it is against a man like Jason Wynyard? So many factors playing a role here. The head games, the fitness level, and just that self-confidence that you need to have in order to compete at this level. Here they come. Sterling Hart's been on the road for months now, so he says he's looking forward to getting home, getting a chance to heal up. He's got 2 more European stops before he heads back to Canada. So no matter what happens here today, we'll wish him the best of luck on those final 2 stops and safe journeys. Let's take a look back here. Sterling Hart, by the way, personal best for Champions Trophy. His best time at Champions Trophy was a 1:10.09. He got that back in 2015. And he got a 1:07.55 here today in the quarterfinal round. So let's see if trend sticks with us and we get an improvement from him in this semifinal. He was second in the Team World Championship in 2014, 2016, Canadian champion 2016, and as I mentioned, he had the best time of 1:10.09 in 2015 at the Champions Trophy. Sterling looking for a little bit of support from the local audience here, and they're more than happy to give it to the Canadian.
Okay, gentlemen. Time is ready. Contestants ready. 15 seconds to warm up your sword. Hands on the wood. Get set.
Great start here in Stocksaw by both of these absolute studs in steel timber sports. Sterling Hart getting over to that underhand chop right with Jason Wynyard. Sterling with a faster pace. Jason Wynyard and Sterling both moving over to the other side of their blocks right away. The power that comes from Jason Wynyard is insane, and he is through and moving over to the single buck. But here comes Sterling Hart. Now, single buck is a discipline that Jason Wynyard absolutely loves. Sterling Hart, though, is right there with him. It's going to be Jason Wynyard getting through there first. Sterling Hart slips slightly, getting over to the standing block, and now it's a dead heat between these two guys, blow for blow on those standing blocks. Will Jason Wynyard's power do it, or will the speed of the hits by Sterling Hart be the difference maker here? Hart's over to the other side before Wynyard. Let's see if he can do it. It's going to be really close. A couple more blows, and it looks like it's going to be Sterling Hart getting through in 1:03.33, and he absolutely improves on his time from the quarterfinal, and it looks like Jason Wynyard just didn't have any gas left in the tank. Wow, what a heat. I was a little worried there for Sterling Hart for a couple of seconds because he was a bit behind with the master Jason Wynyard bearing down on a possible win here, but Hart came from behind with Hart and managed to get through.
The winner is Sterling Hart.
What a battle. 110.68 by Jason Wynyard and 103.33 from Sterling Hart. Amazing. You can see here, they were so close, but Jason Wynyard's power just won out in the underhand chop, and he was 1 hit, 2 hits away from catching up to Jason Wynyard. Referring to Sterling Hart, you can see that extra couple of hits that was required to get him onto that single buck position. And it was here, Sterling Hart just putting everything he had into it. The last couple of blows here. And that one did it, as he looks quickly over to see Jason Wynyard still working at his block, and he knew he had him. All right, so looking at the lineups for our consolation final, or small final as I like to call it here, we're going to see Martin Komarek from the Czech Republic going up against Jason Wynyard from New Zealand. And in our main final, what everybody's been keeping a close eye on as two athletes converge toward that heat, it's going to be DeLosa, Brad DeLosa from Australia, who holds the world record in this discipline, going up against Sterling Hart. That should be a monumental battle, monumental battle.
Was willst du von mir, Mensch, denkst du wirklich, du holst sie ähnlich, wenn ich noch Platten macht, denn das, wo das bleibt angesagt. Ziehen derben Style in der
Hallo, du bist der? Ja. Sag mal, du hast dir deine Axt auf den Arm tätowieren lassen, nicht nur das. Erzähl mal, was sehen wir hier? Wann war das? Wie kam es dazu? Voriges Jahr in Stuttgart bei der Weltmeisterschaft bei der Aftershow. Wie bist du denn auf die Aftershow? Und kannst du dich noch an alles erinnern, oder was hast du mit Sterling da noch alles gesehen? Das kann ich mir daran kann ich mich noch erinnern, der Rest ist nicht schwer. Okay, aber das ist auf jeden Fall ein schöner Reminder, besonders für heute den Titel. Danke dir! Mensch, ey, und bitte das Lachen, das ist peinlich. Sehr gut, guck, das kann man.
All right, that signals something's up as we get ready to bring out our athletes for the consolation final. Two guys who you wouldn't expect to be in a consolation final. Normally we'd see them in the final. We got Martin Komarek from the Czech Republic, 40 years old, still battling his heart out at the STIHL Timbersports World Championships and here at the STIHL Timbersports Champions Trophy. And of course, Jason Wynyard from New Zealand, 43 years old, one of the absolute living legends in STIHL Timbersports history, and a guy you don't mess with when he's got an axe in the hand. They will be battling each other in this consolation final for positions 3 and 4 in the overall standings. Then we will see the final with Brad DeLosa and Sterling Hart. Alrighty. The sun is setting slowly, and there we see Jason Wynyard getting ready for his heat. It looks like he's talking with our doc about something in his back. Hopefully he's okay. All right, I've just been informed that Jason Wynyard will not compete in the consolation round because in that last heat during the standing block chop, he's twisted something in his back, put a disc out of position, not sure, but he is down there with the doc, and obviously you saw him walking over with the doctor, so it's not so significant that it's going to have him in bed for a long time, but better safe than sorry in this case, considering all the core strength that you need in order to swing these axes. So Martin Komarek will step out on the stage on his own, as I'm informed, to take care of just the time in order to place himself in which would standard be third place at the competition here today.
Shame on me for loving you. Can't deny that you've been untrue. Not so sweet, but you love to tease. Could not find gasoline. Whoa. Yeah. I'm baptized and born again. You go to hell with your fucked up friends. Crazy little bitch in the first degree. Shame on you for loving me. Yeah. Whoa. That's what I get for loving you. La la la. No, I can live without you. Why? Ain't all the things you put me through. Cause I'll get my kicks without you.
Well, it seems to be there's a lot of discussion going on down there in the pits as to what is going to happen, and I'm sure that Andy Hall or Jörg will give us a quick explanation as to what's happening. In the meantime, the stage still needs to be set up for competition.
Shame on me for loving you. You can't deny that you've been untrue. Lies so sweet, but you love to tease. But not far with the gasoline. Da, 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 da. Yeah. I get baptized and born again. I'ma raise hell to the bitter end. I'm a crazy little bitch in the first degree.
All right, a tough job for Martin Komarek. Unfortunately, he's going to have to compete more or less against himself. I mean, it's a given third place for him. He just needs to have a good time. So it's tough not having another competitor on stage to battle against. There's no one there pushing you, but he'll have to push himself, and he is veteran enough to be able to pull this off. Same rules apply when it's just one man on stage. The setup is the same, and our judging criteria is the same.
.30 seconds.
All right, nervous energy on stage for Martin Komarek as he gets ready to do this one by himself.
Okay, timer's ready, contestant ready. 15 seconds to warm up your saw. Hands on the wood, get set.
this one's all about time. Wynyard's got an automatic 3 minutes here, so it's about Komarek trying to get through this as quickly as he can and try and gain some points based on time here. We'll have him third place on the podium today no matter what, as long as he doesn't go over the 3-minute mark. Moves over to the other side on the underhand chop here. In this competition now, it's not about trying to beat another guy, it's about trying to beat your own headspace. One more blow should do it for the underhand chop. Moving over to single buck now. And this is where he is so good. Those long legs and long arms can really get the flow going, but he had a quick hitch there. And again. And he seems to be having trouble with the single buck. Fatigue playing a role as he now moves over finally to the standing block chop. Time is looking quite good for Komarek, though. Let's see what he comes out with here at the end. A couple more hits should do it for the standing block. Oh, one more, there it is, and 1:13.96. Not a bad time at all for Martin Komarek. Who looks a little bit tired right now, and I think he's happy that his battle is done for the day.
Okay, the time is good.
Well, the sun is finally easing its way down over the horizon here in Hamburg for this STIHL Timbersports Champions Trophy. As we take a look back at the individual run of Martin Komarek, he was solid. Nothing to say against that one. He had a time of 1:13.96. That was among the better times today. So he can't complain about the time itself. And we'll definitely see him on the podium today in third place, unless I'm mistaken, but I don't think I am. And the anticlimactic last push. Not a blow, just a push for Martin Komarek to finish off his evening here in Hamburg at the Champions Trophy. Oh, wow, look at that. These guys set that stage up in record time. All right, the stage is set. It is ready to go for our final here in Hamburg at the STIHL Timbersports Champions Trophy. As the sun goes down ever so slowly in the background, we have a fantastic amount of light out here. It's beautiful, and it couldn't be better for this final that's coming up. Brad DeLosa will be going head-to-head with Sterling Hart. Both of these guys have fought all day long to make sure that they were ready to go. Sterling Hart battling through adversity with a sprained ankle. His left foot is it's a bit of a balloon. You could say he sort of has cankles. It's causing him problems today. The drawback for Sterling Hart at this point is he knows that he can do this, but he also knows that Brad DeLosa tends to get stronger as the event goes along, and he is also the world record holder from 2015 with the best time at the Champions Trophy of 57:59. Ideal conditions? Maybe. Or maybe it was just training and preparation. And that's exactly what Sterling Hart has done for the last 6 months. He's prepared, he's trained, he's been down in Australia and trained with the Australian team and Brad DeLosa himself. He's been in New Zealand and trained with the New Zealand team and Jason Wynyard himself. He's been around different places all over the world where the best athletes in steel timber sports are training and getting ready so that he would be prepared for this event. And it's just a slight mishap stepping off a curb here in Hamburg that has maybe put that at risk. The jeopardy is there now for Sterling Hart. The question is, does he have enough gumption in his back pocket to really be able to take down Brad DeLosa, who is so strong mentally and physically? These two guys are epic competitors, and you know this is going to be one fantastic final. The audience here is definitely ready for it. The light show, the fireworks, everything lining up to get ready for this final here at Steel Timber Sports Champions Trophy 2017 in Hamburg. I can't wait to get these two guys locked and loaded and with their hands on the wood. Here we go. One of these two men will slip that championship ring on their finger today here in Hamburg. Who will it be? Sterling Hart from Canada or Brad DeLosa from Australia? Brad DeLosa, 40 years old, 13 years older than Sterling Hart, but those 13 years are years of experience when it comes to timber sports. And we know Brad DeLosa, he's a former world champion. He is a 4-time team world champion. He is an Australian champion. And he is a Champions Trophy winner 2 times in 2014 and 2015. And once you get that winning bug, you never want to let it go away. Sterling Hart, he wants to have himself a Champions Trophy win here today. And as we've seen, he's willing to give it all to get there. The question is, will he have enough left in his tank to go up against one of the best in the world in Brad DeLosa? We'll see.
"30 seconds.
Sterling's saw is looking like it's sitting a little high in that block compared to Brad DeLosa's, and I wonder if he's aware of that situation or if he's done that on purpose to get himself a good drawback on that first pull in the single buck. We'll see. All right.
Okay, gentlemen. Timers ready. Contestants ready. 15 seconds to warm up your swords.
All right, we're 15 seconds away from our final here in Hamburg for the Steel Timber Sports Champions Trophy 2017. I'm getting excited. You should be too, folks. Here we go.
Hands on the wood. Get set.
The saws are hopping, but it's a rough start for Sterling Hart, but he's got right back on his horse. He's pushing it down hard. DeLosa right there with them, and it looks like Brad DeLosa got over to the underhand chop first and had the first blow on the underhand chop. This is where he's so strong. Sterling Hart hitches a little bit, but they both move over to the other side of the underhand quickly. They're looking good. Sterling Hart has caught up now. Brad DeLosa's got the power, and he tends to get better as he moves along, moving over to that single buck. Brad DeLosa with the advantage. Let's get an overview on this whole thing here. I can't see Sterling Hart. Sterling Hart pushing hard to try and catch up. DeLosa with the advantage here. Sterling Hart is behind. DeLosa is now on standing block. Hart catches up. This is where Sterling Hart is a very strong competitor. Let's see if he can do the same thing he did to Jason Wynyard against Brad DeLosa. DeLosa onto the other side. Sterling Hart right there with them. This is going to be tight. Brad DeLosa hitting it hard. Sterling Hart going at it as well. DeLosa's top is loose, and DeLosa gets it in a 1:02.71. Look at the difference in time, though. 1:02.23 for DeLosa, excuse me. 1:02.71 for Sterling Hart. Oh, my goodness. How close was that? What a final here in Hamburg. Sterling Hart just by the hair of his chinny chin chin. That is too bad. (1:02.23) for Brad DeLosa. 1:02.71 for Sterling Hart.
And the winner is Brad DeLosa.
Unbelievable. I'm looking forward to seeing the replay on this one, because I'm telling you folks, it was a small hiccup on the stalk saw that slowed Sterling Hart down. Slowed him down enough so that it was literally a few tenths of a second that made the difference between the gold medal and the silver medal here in Hamburg at the STIHL Timbersports Champions Trophy. I can't wait to see this replay. Now we don't get to see the jump in on the saw, but it was so close, and you could see here Sterling was just a hair behind Brad DeLosa. And right there, he got his saw a little bit too deep into the cut on the underhand chop, and that's where he got a little bit too far behind. Could have made the catch-up move here. He's so strong on standing block. But like I said, Brad DeLosa just tends to get stronger as the event goes along. Knows exactly when to peak, when to let it all go out. That's a disappointing one for Sterling Hart. But second place against such heavy, exceptional competition, you can't turn that one down and say it's no good. (1:02.23 to 1:02.71). A few tenths of a second is all the difference was for Brad DeLosa. And you have to know, Brad DeLosa felt Sterling Hart breathing down his neck, and he just threw in a few extra hits there with extra power to try and make it happen for him, and he did it. So a quick preparation on stage for our awards ceremony. So there you go, the official rankings here, the Champions Trophy 2017. Brad DeLosa on top, just ahead of Sterling Hart, literally just ahead of Sterling Hart. Then we've got Martin Komarek in third, who had the solo performance on stage because of an injury to Jason Wynyard's back. Jason is okay, but he opted to take care of his back and his health as opposed to risking it for a fourth place here today. Matt Kogar, Christoph Geisler, Dirk Braun, and Roger Géhin round out the 8 athletes who participated in this Champions Trophy 2017. As always, a fantastic event, well represented from the athletes' side, and of course, well represented from the side of STIHL Timbersports. All right, preparing for our awards ceremony and on stage to help with the presentation, Selina STIHL, a member of the board of directors at STIHL, and Andreas Gottwald, the press officer at Volkswagen Commercial Vehicles, will both be there to present the medals to our athletes who participated in the event, as well as to our champions here, our top 3 athletes, Brad DeLosa, Sterling Hart, and Martin Komarek. Here they come, all the athletes who participated in the event. A hobbling Sterling Hart as well. Oh, it's just going to be the 3 guys? Oh no, they're following the rest. Roger Géhin, the oldest competitor at the event this weekend. Fantastic, in such good shape. Just didn't have any gas left in the tank. Andreas Gottwald and Selina STIHL presenting him. We saw Dirk Brown there, Matt Kogar, of course. Christoph Geisler.
But an injury stopped him. I need applause for the old and everybody standing. Take the ring up from the
So third place goes to the 8-time world champion, Jason Wynyard. Jason, you can't win them all. A fantastic performance once again from one of the absolute legends in the sport of timber sports. In second place, and always fun to watch, Martin Kormarek from the Czech Republic. Excuse me, third place, Martin Kormarek from the Czech Republic. Jason Wynyard in fourth. And of course, second place will go to the Canadian, Sterling Hart, with an amazing performance here today. He didn't want to let that injury to his ankle prevent him from doing his best, but you can't argue the fact that there was something not quite 100%, but he gave it his all today, and his all got him second place, and you know he'll be back and he'll be battling for the top of that podium. And now that we've seen him battle the best in the world and defeat the best in the world, you know he's going to have the confidence to come to the World Championships in Norway and do some damage there. And speaking of that great battle that Sterling Hart put on, it was against our winner here today, and the man that will slip on that championship ring from Australia, multiple team world champion, one-time world champion in the single, and now three-time Champions Trophy winner, Brad DeLosa. Big congratulations all around for Brad DeLosa, our STIHL Timber Sports Champions Trophy 2017 champion. And for him, that is 2014, 2015, and 2017. And now, the moment that he's been waiting for and battling for all weekend long, the presentation of the Champions Trophy ring. So Selena STIHL will present Brad with the Champions ring. Look at that. That is a beast of a ring and well deserved. Congratulations to all our participants today. A great job, a fantastic event, and Brad DeLosa is the victor here in Hamburg at the 2017 STIHL Timber Sports Champions Trophy. there was a time that you'd want to have booze poured all over you, this is it. And Brad DeLosa absolutely enjoys the champagne shower from all of the 7 other participants that were here. Everybody got themselves a bottle of champagne, but nobody is going to be enjoying that champagne more than Brad DeLosa this evening. What a great job he did today, battling through some serious heats where he had competition that would make other people shudder in their boots. And there you see him, 3-time Champions Trophy winner and a true champion, one of the dominant timber sports athletes in the world today. But you know that Sterling Hart's going to be coming up strong in the next couple of months to try and train, get that ankle in real good shape, and enjoy another good battle as we head towards the World Championships, the STIHL Timbersports World Championships in Norway. Spike Milton, big congratulations to Brad DeLosa from him, and gets a little sip as we take a look at some of the highlights from the weekend here in Hamburg at the STIHL Timbersports Champions Trophy 2017. Well, the last cuts have been made, and we hope you enjoyed our show today. Until next time, everybody, hands on the wood.